Have you ever wondered what really happens when life comes to an end? For centuries, the mystery of death and what might follow has intrigued curious minds and challenged even the most skeptical. While science advances in many areas, when it comes to near-death experiences, we find ourselves on terrain where logic often fails. Historical accounts, like the ones you're about to explore, defy established beliefs, provoking deep questioning and stirring our most intimate convictions. If you think you've heard it all about what's real or imagined, get ready to be surprised. Perhaps the answer to what comes after life is hidden in the stories of those who have been to the brink of death and returned to tell what they saw. Colton Burpo. Imagine, if you can, the mind of a 3-year-old child, still forming, unburdened by adult beliefs or scientific explanations. Now, think of Colton Burpo, a boy who, after a delicate appendix surgery, reported something extraordinary. He said he saw Jesus. It's not just that he saw Jesus, but that he brought back information about deceased family members, information that he, at such a young age, could not have known otherwise. The mind of a child is a fascinating place, capable of showing us the purest and perhaps the most inexplicable aspects of our existence. Colton's accounts raise deep questions. How could a child, without access to complex knowledge of life, accurately describe details that defy logic? Science searches for answers in neurological processes, but for many, these accounts go beyond mere synapses. It's a vision that challenges conventional understanding of life and death. After all, if a child is capable of having such a vivid and detailed experience, what does that tell us about the reality of life after death? Colton's story makes us reflect on the mysteries surrounding what happens after our last breath. When a child tells us something so profound, we are compelled to pay attention. Perhaps it is the innocence that allows a more direct connection to what lies beyond. And this leads us to question: if a child can see and feel the inexplicable, what else might we be missing in our daily race? As we ponder this, Colton's account is just the beginning of a fascinating journey that invites us to explore other equally intriguing stories. Rita Isabel Hoare. When we talk about the connection between life and death, the story of Rita Isabel Hoare takes us to even deeper territory. During a fall while pregnant, Rita experienced something that goes beyond everyday understanding. She described a vision of a paradise, a place of peace and serenity, where she was informed that her vital signs had ceased during childbirth. Imagine what it is to be on the brink of life and death, yet still feel a presence so comforting that it transcends any fear. For Rita, this was not just a dream or an illusion, but an experience so vivid that it left an indelible mark on her soul. Rita's experience forces us to reconsider what we know about life after death. We're not talking about a simple episode of unconsciousness, but an experience that, for her, was as real as the life she lived before. The vision of a paradise, something that many of us can only imagine, becomes a powerful testimony to the existence of something greater. And when Rita returned, her life was never the same. She brought back not just memories, but a new understanding of what it truly means to live and die. Rita Isabel Hoare shows us that the line between life and death may be much thinner than we believe. Her account is a reminder that there are dimensions of the human experience that we still cannot fully explain, but which offer us a glimpse of what might be beyond. And so, her story leaves us in a state of deep reflection. If Rita was able to glimpse a paradise during such a critical moment, what more could we discover if we are open to these experiences? What comes next may bring even more clarity to this fascinating and mysterious journey.
Alexander Eben.
Alexander Eben, a renowned neurosurgeon, could never have imagined that he would become the protagonist of an experience that would challenge all his scientific understanding. During a deep coma caused by a rare brain infection, Eben was not just on the brink of death, but embarked on a spiritual journey that he describes as incredibly real, something that transcends scientific explanations. As a man of science, he knew that his experience could not be merely a product of a damaged brain. Yet what he saw and felt during that coma was something he could not ignore, even with all his medical knowledge. Eben's journey took him to places that, according to him, were more real than the physical world we live in. He described the presence of angelic beings, landscapes of incomparable beauty, and a profound sense of love and acceptance. This account, coming from someone who dedicated his life to science, opens up a new perspective on near-death experiences. As someone who understands the complexities of the brain, he saw the inexplicable and was forced to reconsider everything he believed about consciousness and life after death. Alexander Eben's story makes us reflect on the limits of science and the vastness of the unknown. If a neurosurgeon, with years of training and practice, can experience something that defies logic and reason, then perhaps there are aspects of existence that are beyond what our current science can explain. This account invites us to continue exploring, keeping our minds open to what is yet to be discovered. And as we ponder Eben's journey, we begin to realize that the answers we seek may lie in a realm far beyond what we can measure or comprehend. Anita Mirjani. Anita Mirjani's life seemed to be coming to an end. Diagnosed with aggressive cancer, she was in a terminal stage, on the brink of death. But in what seemed like her final breath, Anita had an experience that changed everything. She reports encountering a deceased friend in a dimension where time and space did not exist as we know them. It was there that Anita made an extraordinary choice. She decided to return to life, knowing that by doing so, she would be able to heal her body. Against all medical expectations, she woke up, and miraculously, her cancer began to regress rapidly, surprising even the most experienced doctors. This experience not only challenged science, but also shed new light on the power of the mind and consciousness. For Anita, the encounter with her deceased friend was more than just a hallucination. It was a moment of deep connection with something greater, something that transcends our understanding of what is possible. Her decision to return to life with the certainty that she would be healed raises questions about the role of intention and consciousness in our physical health. And her remarkable recovery serves as a powerful testimony that there is much more to the body and mind than conventional medicine can explain. Anita Mirjani's story invites us to reconsider our own beliefs about healing, life, and death. If a woman can, in a moment of extreme vulnerability, access a level of consciousness that allows her not only to survive but to heal from a terminal illness, what does that tell us about human potential? Perhaps there are internal resources hidden deep within our minds that we are only beginning to understand. And as we move forward, Anita's story encourages us to explore these possibilities with a new perspective. Christine Stein. Christine Stein experienced something that many only imagine in their worst nightmares: a severe car accident that left her on the brink of death. However, while her body was being resuscitated on the operating table, Christine had an experience that transcended physical pain and fear. She found herself floating above her body, watching the doctors as they frantically worked to save her life. But what truly marked this experience was the encounter with her deceased grandparents, who welcomed her with a feeling of love and peace that Christine had never felt before. For her, this encounter was not just comforting, but also a confirmation that there is something beyond this world. Christine's account challenges our understanding of consciousness and where it truly resides. If she was clinically dead or in critical condition, how could she be conscious and observe everything from an external perspective? This type of out-of-body experience is common in near-death accounts, but each story has its peculiarities that make us question the boundaries between life and death. The reunion with her grandparents was not just a spiritual experience, but also a validation for Christine that life does not end with physical death, but continues in another form. Christine Stein's experience is an invitation to explore the idea that consciousness may exist independently of the body. Her story leads us to consider that there may be a spiritual or energetic dimension where we continue to exist, interacting with those who have already passed. As we reflect on the depth of what she experienced, we are led to ask, if Christine was able to see and feel so much during a moment of extreme vulnerability, what does that reveal about the nature of life and death? And so, as we question, these stories lead us to seek more answers to the mystery of existence. Now that you've delved deep into these extraordinary accounts, it's impossible not to wonder, what if there's more to life than what we can see or touch? What do these near-death experiences tell us about our own existence and what truly matters? Perhaps the real question isn't what happens after death, but how we live while we are here. These stories challenge us to consider that, on some level, we all have access to a greater reality, waiting to be discovered. Think about the choices you make every day and the impact they have, not just on your life, but on your legacy. If there's one thing these accounts teach us, it's that the journey doesn't end with the last breath. So why not continue this journey of exploration with us? Subscribe to our channel and activate the notifications so you don't miss any new videos on this and other intriguing topics. Join us as we uncover the mysteries of existence and seek answers to the profound questions that touch all of our lives.